We're all scared. We all look like we're
Oh, we're live. No way. Hang on.
a bunch of deplorable.
I can't turn mine off.
I pull my hat down on my eye.
See, I can't be mysterious.
No one knows who I am. Except for my name on the bottom down there.
There we go.
I should put my mask on. Which is more just to like hide my face than anything else.
Don't let people know you know me. See, I see how you are. I see how you are.
I have a patriotic.
Hello. Whoever's here. Hey, Mrs. West. We should have brought her up here if she had got on camera.
Hi, Mrs. Wes.
There, now nobody knows it's me.
You can get me in trouble for an American flag.
Probably.
It beats anything I ever did see. Hey, Roger. Detroit Frippin'. And she said, that's a no. So, tonight.
If she could get on here, she doesn't realize that she can turn her camera off. She's technically handicapped. She's not as tech savvy as I am and stuff. I understand all this technical stuff. Mostly.
So tonight we're going to talk about skills that's needed for things that may hit the fan. So what skills do you see that are very crucial in that situation?
Basic woodworking skills, definitely.
Say that again, Aid. I'll walk from.
Basic woodworking skills. You haven't got to be an expert, but you know, if you've got a few non-electrical hand tools, you don't need much. Pair of pliers, mold grips, some spanners, a saw, a hand drill. A few of the mix and match. You don't need a cabinet full of tools to do what you need to do.
I got a hurdy gurdy.
Hey, Michael. I'm good, hon. How are you?
This and a drill bit, I'll build you a boat. Not really.
Yeah, I've got the same sort of drill.
It's even got a place to store.
It's older than me.
Put the drill bit in that little hole and then fold it. It's like super cool. Can you imagine like going through your life with one drill bit and one drill? I don't know how old
that would be rough.
Yeah, my hand drills, I think it must be a lot older than I am. It's all unused because my electric drill actually shorted out a couple of years ago, and I just use that one now.
Hey, Michael McReynolds.
Michael McReynolds.
Try and buy good drill bits though.
Well, I see where being able to build a fire, people's going to got to learn how to do that. Because they're going to have a fire to keep warm. They're going to have a fire to be able to cook. You know, and you'd be surprised at the people that don't know how to build a stinking fire.
I know a lot of people that need a fire lighter to get a fire going.
I know a lot of people that couldn't get a fire going with a lighter and a can of gasoline.
Yeah.
People think that fire is just automatic. They think if they're used to controlled environments where everything's ready to burn. It took me probably 20 minutes to get a fire going in the stove this morning with materials that were in the house already. You don't just You know, it's not, you don't spray lighter fluid on the coals and strike a match and throw it on there. That's not how it works when you're running a wood stove, because you really don't want lighter fluid in your wood stove. Just saying. Could be really bad.
Well, and you know, there's so many people that do not know how to start a fire without lighting fluid. They cannot start a fire from just tinder. That amazes me because I see people all the time will throw some lighter fluid on there and get it going, and it's like you're just wasting fuel.
People are like, well, I got some fat wood in my bug out bag. And when that is gone, because all fat wood is basically, you know, wood that's soaked in lighter fluid, just natural.
Pretty much.
Whenever,
hey, Teresa.
I mean, it's something that's good to have, but if you don't do the rest of it right, your little fat wood shavings are just going to burn out in the middle of your pile of sticks, and you're not still going to have a fire.
Yeah, I'd use the fat wood when the wood's too wet, or when I've got wet sticks and they're dried out enough to use as tinder and kindling after that.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of skills out there that people. I mean, gardening is going to be a big one, honestly.
Yep.
A lot of people throw a lot of weight at knowing wild foods and stuff. Wild foods are very seasonal. There's an abundance, and then they're gone of whatever. Like
in winter.
The wild
Hi,
animals.
Julie.
North America. Especially up in North America, you know, like the Dakotas and Montana and that, we got like 12 foot of snow during the winter. Or in where I live, North Scotland, north of England, there's nothing. It's just snow. Everything's gone. So you need to keep that food stored.
Even if they garden, they need to know how to preserve that food, whether it be can it, whether it be dehydrated, and things in that nature. They're going to have skills to get through anything. You know,
I said before, canning's not big in the UK. I'm not saying it's not done, but it's not done on a scale like you guys do it.
Well,
if I get a canner, I have to get one from America.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
they have canners back at Walmart right now.
Pardon?
They have canners back on the shelves at Walmart now. Finally.
Do they?
What about supplies? Canning. I mean, you've got the canners, but what about the canning supplies?
Yes, you gotta stock up on that stuff. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Tatler lids, they take some getting used to using, but they are reusable and they're nice.
Tatler?
Yes. I've got 4 canning jars, and I picked them up on sale, just off by chance. But I've only ever seen them in one shop. And the shop I went to was like, you know, a posh excuse me, a posh arts and crafty type of place, you know. Well, the square jars, and they're 3.5 inch wide neck. But I can only get plastic reusable lids.
Well, see,
I can't get the steel ones, not for the life of me. Not in England, anyway.
Wow.
This is Tatler lids. Well, let me get through the rings. It's a ring like this.
She's not moving.
You have a little lid like this.
Oh.
It goes on there like that. You put it on just like you do a regular canning ring or lid. You put your regular ring on it, can it, it sucks it down, and these things are reusable.
Yeah, I can get those, the plastic ones. I can't get the steel ones. I've seen them. I've seen pictures, but not. I can't just get them from England. I've got to order them from eBay abroad.
I'm not sure how many times. I can't remember exactly how many times you can use Tatler lids. I want to say it's like 12 or 15.
I've got peppercorns and pink salt in my canning jars.
You can reuse
Hey,
the
Gardner.
metal too. You have to, if you crank them down all the way the first time you can them, you can't reuse them. But if you just put them on there and run the lid down to where it's touching, and then just go just a little bit, just make it snug, then there's enough gasket to use that a second time. And it still seals as long as that makes that little noise when it's cooling down. As long as it goes
ping,
then you're good to go.
Now I do. You're not supposed to, but I do reuse my regular canning lids.
The rings or whatever, you don't have to have as many of those because they're like as many times as you can sterilize them, you can use them.
That's right.
The flats are what you got to be careful, and you got to make sure that you clean them every time. You wash them, you keep them someplace where cootie bugs aren't going to get them. You got to sterilize them every time, and when you sterilize them, that gasket will swell back up. A lot of people don't realize that. So,
and also on those rings, I mean, on those flat lids, after you've used them so many times.
Hi, Teresa.
Do not throw them away because you can use them suckers for your vacuum sealing. And I tell you what, the used lids work better than the new lids. Adeoneer is very nice. Gardner said she loves your accent, Ade.
Thanks, Gardner.
And Teresa said, "Your Biddy Boo, your friend Ade looks very nice." They just say you're a pain in the butt, Wes.
I've got got you on PSN, so I've got you. This is why I'm looking over there instead of at the screen, so I can read the side chat.
Teresa, it's a trick. He's actually very dangerous.
Ade's a sweetheart. All right, so we got canning covered. We got fire. Ade said woodworking skills. What other skills do you see needed, Wes?
Animal husbandry.
Yes.
Because it's not that easy to understand what your animals need all the time. So if you're not a very good animal husband, it's going to be a very stressful relationship. So
I've not worked on a farm for over 20 years.
Everybody thinks you just go to the farm store and you buy some baby chicks, and you throw stuff at them, and then they make eggs, and you eat them, and you're like, wait a minute, nobody told me about this pox or that pox, or what stuff falls off of a chicken. What?
Yeah.
You have to do what? You have to massage what because of what?
Hey, lamp keeper.
Yeah, chickens are a pain in the butt.
They are. But I tell you what, they do produce good food, whether it be meat, whether it be eggs. But also on the animal husbandry, y'all need, if you're going to get them, any animal, you need to know how to deliver a baby. And that's not just animals. You're going to have to know how to deliver human babies. You need to get something, and you need to study cesarean sections because, unfortunately, they have to be done quite a lot.
I have a calf puller out back.
I have a calf puller too. I don't like to use it.
I'm trying to figure out how to get it tied around the little kids. Just in case.
Yes,
I'd rather pull the baby than do a C-section because there's like a lot of blood. There's like a lot of stuff in there you have to cut through. I've watched videos. Pretty sure I could do it. I could probably save the baby, but mom's going to be touch and go. So
I've never seen a human baby being born. I've seen
Yes, these
animals
guys
being
have
born,
channels.
but not the.
Their links are in the description below.
I've seen babies come out the normal way. I've seen babies come out backwards. I've seen people. I've seen 2 bikini line cesarean sections. And I'll pass on the C-sections. Those are gross.
Wow. Well, I've had to have 2 cesareans, so.
It's,
and now that last cesarean, I told them, I said, you go in, you yank it out, you cut it out, you burn it, you do whatever you do. I don't want no more kids.
Yeah.
And then I adopted 5. So, hey.
That's something else. Unless you want to be digging a lot of little small holes in a major grid down situation, a very important skill is going to be called keeping your drawers on. The words,
yes.
It's real simple. Fellers, don't ask. Girls, if they do, say no. Because
abstinence.
Yeah, it's
and guys,
Milwaukee ain't no
young
place.
guys out there, please stock up on raincoats. That's all I'm asking. Stock up on raincoats. If you can't use a raincoat, let's see if you can find some saran wrap that sucker with.
Just don't do it. It's simple. I mean, there's all kinds of other ways to let her know you care. Get her some flowers.
Simple work. Make chastity belts.
Go get her a new dairy cow. She'll love you for it.
Yep.
Don't. It's, and I know that's not the easiest thing in the world, but I was thinking about that the other day. There's going to be way too many little people popping out, and the reason there were always so many little people being buried is because, well, infant mortality without modern medicine is about 70%. The end. If a person, if you have 10 kids, 3 of them will make it to adulthood.
Yeah.
And for 2 people, that's a pretty good survival rate, because now 2 people have made 3 people. So, and some of it's better than that. I mean, we have a morbid hobby. We go around to old cemeteries. Old, where the town's gone, the cemetery will still be there. And everybody's talking about going back to how cool it'll be to live in the 1800 style. That's.
I mean,
it's
I think I can
don't
make it if it goes back to the 1800s. I mean, I think I could make it. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you what, it sure is nice to go in there and push a button and my washing machine do all the laundry for me. I'm gonna miss that.
Well, it's not just the modern comfort. And that's the matter. How many people can wash their laundry without a washing machine?
Me.
I can.
I can.
Yeah. Use a bathroom stick.
Other people can. I mean, the people honestly know how to do laundry without a washing machine.
Well, you know what, Wes? The sad thing of it is, a lot of them don't know how to do dishes without a dishwasher.
Never owned a dishwasher.
Never, we own one. I never hooked it up.
No, doesn't count.
Doesn't it? It really doesn't. It's there. I'm like a almost totally unused dishwasher if anybody wants it. I got it and I thought it'd be nice to my wife and hook it up. She goes, I don't need that. So I never got hooked up.
I just need the
Gardner says that she knows how to do laundry without the washing machine because she does it sometimes.
I guarantee you, all these people with these 2 closets full of clothes.
Hi, Rachel.
They're going to be throwing some stuff away.
Hey, Rachel, just tell them to scrub it in the toilet. I used to do diapers in the toilet, I'll tell you what. And then I'd get them out and go and fix me up a big boiling pan of water. And Have them diapers in a tub with some soap and go to scrubbing.
I
Yeah, my mum used terry towels, not disposables. Just towel diapers, towel nappies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call them terry towels over here.
How many people know how to put a cloth diaper on? Rachel, you don't count. I think you actually use those. But
yeah, a lot of people don't know how to use a cloth diaper.
and those ones that they have now, the ones that have the stitch down the middle with the extra padding or whatever, I'm talking about them big square diaper things that you have to know how to fold and know how to put on. The ones that you see in all the cartoons where there's one diaper pin. Yeah, those diapers.
Original diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to know. I don't anymore. I can do the ones with the extra stitching in the middle or whatever. Those are easy. I like those. I can do those. I'll do those.
Teacher Roger says, I do diapers now, but Frank is under strict potty training. But, what used to get me is I was so scared when using those pins that I was going to stab my kid. And Mama says, sister, if you have your hand in that diaper like you're supposed to, you ain't got to worry. It'll stab you before it stabs that baby.
My kids have scars, but that's their fault for squirming. That'll learn them. And after you stick them 3 or 4 times, you say, lay still. They're they make freeze. They make it real easy. Apparently, you're not supposed to do that on purpose.
How did you break your wrist, Teresa? And that's another thing, y'all. We need to know how to set bones.
People die from broken bones if they're not set right. It's weird.
She fell.
The marrow in the bone can't get into the rest of your body. I mean, it's like bad news if like chunks of the fat from the marrow get into your bloodstream. They go around and around and around and around until they find a place they don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You're over with. You have one they'll actually collect. They'll collect blood on the way through, and they can actually go in and they'll just like put a plug in the side of your heart.
Huh.
There's I forget what I forget what they're called, but yeah, people die of broken legs all the time. I did not know that.
Well, see, that there's basic first aid. People need to know that. People need to know how to set bones and you're going to have to learn to be a young dentist too, or people's going to have to learn dentistry.
Yes, Rachel, tell Lance hello. And that.
Because contrary to belief, y'all, an abscess tooth can kill someone. Especially the elderly. Oh, I'm not going to. I don't want the COVID either. You're so glad your mom isn't here for this crap. Why? What's wrong, Gardner? Not here for what? The COVID or the chat?
Apparently the chat. We really want to get off on that other thing, Biddy. If you do, I mean, we're going to bow out. I don't talk current events and stuff like that. That's.
Oh, the C word?
Yeah, I mean, that's not interested in talking about it. I mean, It's stuck to death.
It's just a virus, y'all. I mean, that to me, that's what it is. It's just like anything else.
I mean, not trying to be rude or anything, but I got better things to do with my time than argue about that stuff with anybody anymore. I don't care what's
Yeah,
out. I'm done with it. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to
I
argue
am
over it.
too.
I cover my face when there's old people around, and if I've got to go into some place where other people's lives would be at risk if I brought the virus in, follow the rules. Those are fair. Those, and it's up to me. I don't have to go in there. But other than that, I ain't in for the discussion. So.
Okay, Wes, they have a question for y'all. So, what is your advice for a quick shelter?
Poncho, army issue poncho.
Yeah, it all depends on what you mean by quick shelter.
Where do you live?
And where do you live. But like Aid said, I mean, the best thing is what the military issue poncho is boom, instant shelter.
Yeah, it takes you a minute to get it up, 2 minutes max.
And even if you don't want to put it up, you put it on and sit down and you're sheltered. I mean, what do you mean by quick shelter?
They have an acre with no house. So, in other words, what kind of home would be quick, I guess, is what they're meaning.
I mean, are you in Alaska? Are you in Arizona? Well, I don't guess that'd make no difference. Actually,
yeah, if you're in North America, you're best off learning how to put a tent up as quick as you can. You put a tent
Well,
up
maybe
for 5
not
minutes
that
anyway.
quick, but in other words, something that would be easy to build and maintain. And they're in North Carolina.
What the winter's like in North Carolina?
They're pretty cold, but it's
cold.
Yeah, get a cheap down tent. Better than nothing.
Don't they have the stupid heat there and the humid heat in the summer too, though?
Yes.
You're gonna want an elevated building. Step one, but something that you can skirt, that you can also remove the skirt. Some 2 cinder blocks above ground level. Build a skid on top of it, and siding building with a metal roof. Just put OSB underneath your metal siding, and then insulate the puppy and finish it out with sheetrock, because sheetrock is a fire barrier. Do not put paneling, wood siding, or anything like that inside your living quarters. It's hard to set a log cabin on fire, but a house with wood paneling, I live in fear of my home. There's paneling on every wall. I live in a giant match. It would take nothing to burn us to death. Wood paneling on the inside of your house is a big no-no. So wood paneling on the inside of a shelter where you were probably thinking about running like a small wood stove to keep warm, big no-no. Put sheetrock.
They want to know, what about a mud hut?
A mud hut, it depends. The mud hut is labor intensive.
Yeah, it's not a quick shelter. If you're doing it wattle and daub style, you've got to get the wattle in, or flex thin, like elder branches. Weave them together. Then you got to press mud, dung, and straw. You mix them all up. Then you press that onto the wattle, and then you can make your shelter. That takes quite a while, because you got to get the daub dry out first.
Yeah, you can't go
you got to put plaster on top of the daub, or it'll just rot away. If you Google York, England, all the Tudor buildings, they're from Shakespeare time, some of them, and they're made out of wattle and daub.
As long as you can keep the moisture out of it after it dries,
boarding, and it's not easy
good
to do.
My mud hut fell in because I made it, used it for a few videos, and then left it alone. it rained on it 4 or 5 times, and then it collapsed from the weight.
Yeah, you got to render it on the outside, plaster on the inside.
Uh,
Hi, DB. How you doing?
Hey, Beaumont.
and
Beaumont
making
Beaumont said, like they said, if you're talking about a bug out situation, a tent is the fastest.
Yeah.
Then listen to what Wes says about long term.
I mean, if you want to build something on your 1 acre that people aren't going to know is there, do a dugout. The end.
Or build an Anderson shelter.
Happy New Year,
Right, I'm
Beaumont.
going to talk about Anderson shelters because people think they're hard to make. They're not. Right, in World War II, I've done this. I've studied this at school. Yeah, right. The Anderson shelter was designed for people to build themselves who'd never done any carpentry since they left school. So, say London, right? You've got a kid who's left college, went to work at the bank for 10 years. World War II starts. He's got to build an Anderson shelter. The guy's never picked up a saw in his life or a hammer. He's always paid for someone to come around and fix the house. You know, those types of people. And it's basically 2 curved pieces of sheet corrugated iron, or you can use aluminium or you can use plastic nowadays. And then you just throw soil at the side and pack it down with rocks. So Google Anderson shelter. There are actually blueprints on the internet which you can print off. And it's a very simple and effective way of making a shelter, and it's also shrapnel proof. It won't take a direct hit off a Luftwaffe bomb, but when they hit the houses and there was bricks and glass and metal flying everywhere, it stopped it. Anderson shelters saved lives during the war, and I've actually lived in one for a bit in my younger days when I was in between homes. And they're very warm, and you can put a stove in there. Yeah, still lots of Anderson shelters up. Yeah, DB knows what I'm talking about. I actually stayed in one for about 6 months. And all you need is a shovel, right? Some a wooden frame, corrugated iron, or aluminium or plastic, and then just build it around there. Throw your soil on top, pack it down, put a door on the front. You're good to go.
Okay, say that one metal again. I love it when you say it.
Aluminium.
See, we call it aluminum.
I know what you call it, yeah.
I just love it. Aluminium.
The stuff Coke cans are made out of.
Oh, aluminum.
Yeah, that stuff, yeah.
Aluminum.
Or alley.
I dropped it a long time ago.
Alley over here.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, for the longest time, I had the trouble saying aluminum because it would come out aluminum. And Rick would say, what? I'd say aluminum. And he'd say, what? Aluminum. He goes, you mean aluminum? And I'm like, I should have just said aluminium.
Lamp keeper, what kind of property do you got? I mean, if you've got an acre somewhere out in the woods or on a flat piece of dirt in North Carolina or whatever, I don't know. Some of it depends. You can't dig a hole if you're right there at the water table, and you're not going to really be able to dig a dugout if you're on flat land. And if you got clay soil or whatever, yeah, you can build up. But if it rains a lot, you don't really want to be in a mud hut unless you can make the plaster to go on the outside of it or the stucco. And making stucco takes a lot of fire. A lot of fire. It's actually one of the theories about what happened to the Aztecs is that they burned so much of their forest down making the stucco to stucco their buildings that they killed the ecosystem and their plants quit growing because it wasn't raining there anymore. Just acid rain from all the ash and stuff. So
wow. ACJM. See, you know so much stuff.
See, clay is good. You could probably, depending on your water table, you could probably make clay bricks. But then again, depending on what your money situation is like, you can get regular, if you can get a dump truck to dump a load of sand out there and take a few bags of Portland cement out there, you can mix and make your own plaster for the outside, or stucco rather. But you've got to have an inch of that on there. And you cover your mud hut with chicken wire, and then you put an inch of cement on the outside of it. And then you brush it with a broom, and then you mix some more of it up, and you actually put what's that? It's kind of like a paint that you mix in. It's a polymer that you mix in with the cement, and then you put a quarter of an inch of that on there, and it's
So it's like a sealer?
Yeah. Keeps the moisture from going in, but still, if you're building right on the ground, termites will find your bricks and they'll go in there and they will eat all of the plant fiber out of your bricks. Or, there's a lot to it. Compressed earth is good if you got a way to do that. Sand and clay and earth bags, that's a really good, but that's expensive. I want to build an earth bag house so bad I can't stand it, but I can't afford the bags. I can build a house out of cinder blocks cheaper than I can build an earth bag house. And I have the dirt to fill the bags up. But by the time you buy all of the bags, you might as well use cinder blocks. So
yeah,
they got popular, so the cost of the bags went way up.
oh, I imagine. And them used to be some of the cheapest homes you could build. Okay, what else, guys? What else do they need to know to do?
Anything that they don't already know how to do. You have to make a list of what you know and what you don't know. Each individual person needs to sit down and honestly assess their skill level. You can't say, okay, I watched Wes S do a flint and steel video with charclaw and he made a fire and he made it look easy. If that goofball can do it,
Hi, Ollie.
this. No, it took me years to get that down. And it's still not a promise.
Hey, Oily.
I've said this before on here. I don't know how many times. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on that friction fire stuff, and I can make a lot of smoke. I have yet to get. I've been trying to make a friction fire since I was in my 20s. Not every day because I have a life, but I'm sure
I gave up the bow fire years and years ago, and I've never done it.
I've tried it a couple of times a year for the past 30 years. Okay, 30 something years. I haven't got a fire by rubbing 20 sticks together. I even cheated and tried to use a power tool. I made smoke, a lot of smoke. Just because you see it on the YouTubes. And there's a difference between making a list of skills and then going out and practicing the skills. But you have to assess yourself, make the list, and check them off. And you don't have to okay, I can't make friction fire. I shall spend the next 27 years of my life learning friction fire. That's not going to do you any good. Okay. You make a list of all your skills, and then you make a list of things you think you might need to know to survive without all, I know how to do laundry. I've had to wash my socks in the sink, so I can do laundry without the washing machine. Washing your socks and other things in the sink is not the same as having a week's worth of clothes that today you've decided you're going to wash, and you go to get all of the blood and the smoke and the mud and the stucco and the tree sap and the fleas and the lice eggs and all that other stuff out of, so you can hang them up to dry. And you've got to do all this without tearing up the fibers of the clothing, because if you tear up the fiber of the clothing by beating them with a rock, I mean, those are dumbasses that have a PhD that made up that bullshit about people beating their clothes with a rock, right? They ain't never seen nobody beat no clothes with no rock to get them clean. Anyway,
Well, also, if people, just because you went and done it once does not mean you're a professional at it. You
right.
gotta keep it up.
But when you figure out what that is that you don't know how to do, then you do it. Just you think you might want to go out in the trees somewhere and build you a little cabin, right? Build your dog. Do not cheat. Only what you would have available to you out in the trees. Build your dog a really nice little cabin. And then remember that everything you use to build that cabin, that when you build it for yourself, is going to weigh as much as that cabin. So now you've got to figure out how to move all these logs and move all these rocks and all that stuff. Because when you're building it for your dog, you can just pick the log up and set it in place. It's like really big Lincoln logs.
Wes, Beaumont had.
At least you know then the concept of building a cabin. And then what?
Beaumont has a question for you. It says, Wes, are you and Greg?
If Greg Evans would talk to me, I would be able to answer that. I would love to do a collab with Greg Evans.
Okay.
Greg Evans has not emailed me back. So I'm not going to go to Canada because I would have to go to Hoople's house and let them kiss her, and I don't want to be all arrested and stuff. So, and cotton ball.
I've been thinking about earlier too.
Lamp keeper, unless your laundry is 100% cotton, stop saving the dryer lamp. Nylon won't burn. The end. Dryer lint's not a good thing. This paper towel is better than dryer lint. You can take this paper towel and you can take your little flint that you're going to use on your striker, and you can sit there and you can rub a pile of dryer lint off of this, which is all plant fiber. But it's really fine. It's like a little cotton ball made out of paper. That'll catch a spark off your flint and steel. Nylon or whatever dryer lint will not catch a spark. Well, it'll catch a spark, but it'll melt. It's not going to burn.
Yeah.
Cotton will catch a spark without the Vaseline. The Vaseline is just an accelerant. I mean, that whole dryer lint fad thing, it's cool. Like, there's a lot of neat things out there that are worth knowing. Like in a pinch, if you've got nothing else, you can't come up with any other tinder. If you're wearing regular cotton blue jeans, you use the front of the lower part of the leg, which is going to be the least worn part of your pants. They're going to receive the least amount of wear and tear. You take your knife and you can scrape a pretty decent bundle of lint. All you need is a little bottle of lint the size of a ping pong ball to catch a spark, but then you have to have something else for that little quick fire to jump to. And this
Belly
is
button fluff.
belt.
If you
All right,
have to.
Clifford has a question for you about how about sod, but I'm wondering if he's talking about a sod home.
Sod homes are good if you've got good clay soil with good grass. It's kind of hard to build a sod home in the winter. The grass is dead. So, yes, Orleans, that is true.
But people need to learn how to build fires without that stuff too oily, because what happens when they run out?
Yeah, we lost our utility room to a trash can full of dryer lint.
Oh, wow.
It will self-ignite. Thank you, fire department, for telling us that. Oddly enough, it has static electricity in it. And all it has to do is decide to start discharging somewhere. And it literally can make a spark hot enough to set the lint on fire.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's some things you...
Well,
yeah.
Well, that's like at night. All right. You take a blanket. You go in the room at night, a blanket that you have gotten out of the dryer. You go in a dark room and you take that blanket and you do like this, and you're going to see static go all through it.
Sorry.
Because I was in there the other night and I was moving our blankets. And I had the light off and I just moved it like that. Man, you could just see the little electric things. And it was like, whoa.
Yep. Yeah, we lost a washing machine, a dryer, a room. We had to paint everything. Fill the whole house up with smoke. I had the fire out by the time the fire department got here because I'm just that guy. Lucky enough, it was in one part of the house that we'd removed the paneling already. So.
Oh, that's good.
And not everyone has a dryer, so you can't get dryer lint.
Yeah, and honestly,
if you want to go around your friend's house and say, "Can I take your dryer lint out your dryer?" It's kind of weird.
Might as well. You got any old underwear I can have? No.
That's just
We're not friends no more. Can you please leave? Yeah.
It's actually awkward. Honestly, in the desert, well, in semi-arid areas, you're going to have some form of yucca growing. Even in, they have yucca growing in Florida, in Tennessee. I found yucca in Tennessee. It's a different kind. What I'm getting at is yucca fiber, the same fiber that you make cordage from. That yucca fiber is super flammable. Yucca wood, the stem, has the lowest ignition point of any other wood in North America. Thank you.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I found that on the internet, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So,
I will be planting me some yucca plants. The only reason I ain't got them is because when you go to mow, them suckers stick you and you. Yeah.
Well, explain something to you. If you make the mistake of letting one of these Spanish daggers grow on your property, you will have these things all over your property. Kill them like the weed they are. Oh, if you want some, I'll bring a couple of these seed pods up there and I'll chunk about your pasture.
No, I don't want them chucked out in my pasture. I just wanted them in my yard.
No, you don't. That's how they got started. Not just joking. They'll grow anywhere. And as long as you remember to cut the flowers off, you're fine. Oh, that's pretty. As soon as they make seed pods, you cut that stem off, throw it in trash. Never let them grow. They're food if you can stomach them. You have to be able to.
I've heard that people ate them, but I've
No, not the ones we have here. The ones we have here don't taste good. The other ones, the big ones, that grow further south, those seed pods actually taste good.
huh.
The ones here have
I've never.
a soapy taste.
Well, I've never ate cactus. I was watching you that one day, and I was like, no, I wouldn't get all the little deals burnt off of it.
But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you one of the things that wipe people out whenever, or one of the things that's going to take people out, is the fact that they're not going to have the skill they need to keep their hands and their minds busy without YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, all these other thingies that, scroll. Oh, that's funny. Clap. Scroll. All that stuff. I do it all day long. So I know that people have a lot of stuff to keep their heads busy with now. When that's gone, how many hands of gin rummy can you play? Or, I mean, not gin rummy, solitaire. Can you play without the mouse before you lose your stinking mind?
Yeah.
Um,
I've been trying to wean myself away from all of the. I even gave up my bingo blitz.
Think about it,
Yeah,
though.
I know.
If you know how to, you're not going to be able to go to the store. Do you honestly think that people bought rope? You see these Little House on the Prairie. He takes his wagon to town, and I need 150 foot of rope. Yeah, just put that on my bill. Rope ain't no cheaper back then than it is today. It's cheaper today than it was back then. So when he asked for that rope, he just asked you to put a month's pay in the back of his wagon.
Yep.
Trust me. That farmer, after the sun went down, was sitting out there in his barn or in the lamplight or wherever, and he was twisting plant fibers together. Chances are he may have had his own fiber twister. I've seen them. They made their own rope back then. They didn't.
I would love to know how to make rope. I would love to know how to do it.
It's
not a clue, to be honest.
It's rope. It's not that hard. That what they call cordage on YouTube on these survival channels. That's just rope. Just make it bigger. A half inch.
I would love
a rope out of yucca. That's a half inch. It's going to be stronger than any half-inch hemp rope. One of the ranches south of Lubbock, they had a barn that was built out of yucca stems. They built the barn, but then for slatting and stuff, they used the flower stems. That's what they used for shutters. That's what they used to put up shade and stuff. So, to keep the rain from blowing in and the the sun from beating down on everything and everybody. They used this stuff back then. They didn't go to the Olson's Mercantile and say, I need 2 pounds of them nails and 150 foot of rope. Didn't do it. They might have asked for the nails because nails are hard to make. But you can't make nails at home. Or you can. I wouldn't want to be the guy out there spending all day long making nails. Let's put it that way.
Well, y'all, we've got right at 5 minutes. Is there anything y'all want the guys to answer?
Yeah, any super important questions about super important stuff?
No politics.
Like,
Gilligan made nails.
how many people that watch Gilligan's Island are aware that the guy that played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island was the producer and the director for that show? That was his show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've not
I
seen
didn't
that.
either. I was like, serious? The man was a genius.
That's TMI, Clifford. That's TMI.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Make your list, people. Check and see what you know how to do and what you don't know how to do.
And if you're in a group, divvy it up. Get people to learn different stuff.
Yeah. And if you know something and somebody else doesn't know it, teach it to them.
Yes.
Don't make yourself important by being the only guy that knows how to do something. That's not the right way to be. If the tree falls on you, guess what? You've killed several people because you took your knowledge with you. Not cool. I don't know.
Well, here's just some trivia, Lamp Keeper. Did you know the guy that played Mr. Howell borrowed money from everyone on the set and would never pay them back because he was just a beggar?
Yeah, he didn't do much after that. But he
And
had
the lady that played Mrs. Howell, she was actually a millionaire before she ever started doing Gilligan's Island. So she was rich.
Mary Ellen, not Mary. What was the brunette's name? What was her name?
Marianne.
Marianne. Marianne died.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, the other
And
day.
the Tina, the one that played Ginger, for a long time they didn't have the Professor and Mary Ann at the end in the theme song. A lot of times they just went to Ginger, and she had it fixed that way because she didn't want any of the others to be more important than her. She was kind of a B word.
These things happen. No questions. Bamboo is nifty looking construction. Bamboo is super cool.
You can make anything out of bamboo.
And when I get a piece of property,
walls, beds, anything.
somewhere where it rains and stuff a lot,
Cooking pot.
I
You
stick
can
onto
get
the
a
neighbor's
really wide
property.
bit of bamboo. You can make a cooking pot out of it.
I am going to plant bamboo on the neighbor's property. You watch.
Well, see, I was wondering, okay, this little creek that runs beside my house, Wes. One part of it stays wet year round, but the rest of it doesn't. Now, would that be good to grow bamboo on?
As long as you got some way to keep the bamboo from shred, it doesn't have to be at the creek. It just has to get ample rainfall. Bamboo grows like Johnson grass. It
Oh, does it?
spreads a runner, comes up, new stalk. Spreads a runner, grows up, new stalk. You have to, I mean, wherever you don't put bamboo. That's why I said I was going to plant it on the neighbor's property. Because then I could, well, man, I can help you keep that down if you want me to. I don't want it on my property where I have to keep it down or it takes over.
Plant it over there on my sister's property and say, hey, your shit's growing up. Can I cut it down?
Yeah. See, that's how you do that. Or on the fence line at the back of the property. It's bamboo's really good at stopping erosion, though. So if you have it growing on the sides of your creek or whatever, it'll keep it from washing out your creek banks and everything because of the root systems and stuff. But you've got to be aware that you can't just go out there with a mower and cut the bamboo down when it starts getting out into your yard. You have to go out there and physically remove the runners.
Okay.
So I was sort of joking about planting on neighbors.
All right, y'all. Is there anything y'all want to tell everybody before we shut down?
Don't die.
Does bamboo lose its sweet leaves in the winter, Wes?
Don't think so.
No, pandas eat it all year round, so probably not.
Bamboo is one of those. People don't get that. Everything. Oh, bamboo, jungle, hot climate. No, bamboo grows in China. China is cold as hell. Oh well, hell's not really all that cold, but you know, China's cold. So there's
people
Chinese
here,
don't wear those.
They grow it ornamentally in the gardens.
Chinese don't wear those fluffy little suits everywhere they go because they look cool. It's cold. They're wearing a blanket.
All right. Well, y'all, we're going to call it a night. Remember, the world's a better place because y'all are in it. Don't ever, ever, ever forget it. I love y'all, each and every one. Y'all take care. Bye.
See you folks. Thanks for watching.